Yeah, no, we were flying over the coast in the hot air balloon, and we had just decided to get naked, and it was kind of cool. We started jumping up and down, and we were. Oh, we're on. Hi everybody. This is Adam Cove out here. What you might have just heard was just make believe. Yeah, that's it. Today it is Friday, the 23rd of February, 2018, and by the clock on the wall, it looks like it's about 11:25. That's really not that important what time it is. I don't know why I told you that, but I guess it's fun. Uh, about half an hour ago, I made my first official introductory video, motivational speech, a little comedy, this and that, and just a general background about me and my story, kind of just to give you a little familiarity with it and know that I'm not just talking out of no experience. I'm talking from experience. And today I'm going to do the first video that I'm actually starting to make a kind of a video plan, a topic subject with some notes about what I want to, how I want to share it and what information I'll give. So this is kind of experimental phase. So you kind of like all my guinea pigs. What I want to discuss now is the topic of paying it forward. Don't mind me. I'm talking my vaping mod. For some reason, sometimes they leak, and you get some of that vaping fluid on your fingers, which contains nicotine, which gets absorbed into your skin. Which right about now, I feel like I just smoked 20 cigarettes in about 30 seconds because of nicotine. It's all good. One thing you have to know about me is I'm a very alive person who likes to have fun and very open minded. And as far as the rules of, oh, don't play with your mom now, you're making a video. Don't do that. You're doing this. Like, look, I'm not gonna go as far as urinating in front of you or anything like that. But if I'm just gonna sit here and scratch and just do whatever I do when I do it, so be it. Hope I don't offend anybody. So paying it forward. Generally, since I'm new at this, I'm not sure how many people are going to view it. I don't know if I'm ever going to use this material, and when I speak in front of people, like the first time I do it, I'm going to start small, not a big room full of people. But essentially, I like to sometime do what same thing Mr. Hollis, William Hollis does, is speaks to schools and children and all that. I'm not ready for that yet. I'm not going to go ahead and start playing with kids' minds and molding their clay and stuff because I don't want to screw them up more than they might already be. But anyway, as you say, take baby steps first, little steps first. So paying it forward. The first time I learned about paying it forward, officially, because I might have, when I was younger and didn't know I was paying it forward, help someone out and whatever. But I really don't know. It was like, probably, in the second half of my current life so far, somewhere I heard the term pay it forward. And then there's a movie that I had watched with Kevin Spacey in it. And I don't know the other actors' names, but there's a young man who's one of the main characters. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Pay It Forward. It's a very good movie. And I just pick up pieces of stuff and learn it. But and now the next thing is, I think many people know what paying it forward is these days. Someone out there, if you're watching this, most likely you know what paying forward is. I think there's still people that don't really know. Maybe really younger people that who knows? There's so many people in the world. Seems like there's always people that will know things, and there's a few people that don't know the things yet. When I started to practice the methods of paying it forward, one thing I noticed, it was very rewarding. Rewarding for one thing to know that when other people that have helped me, and I'll give you some examples coming up. Of course, I always really appreciated it, and then I knew that the way it seems to work is somebody helped me along the way, and later on I'll help somebody else along the way, and then maybe that person will help somebody else. So paying forward, so you get the idea. Uh, I had an example which is really big, a big way somebody helped me out, and I paid it forward. And I don't know if I want to go with that first. You know what? I think I just will use this as an example. A few years ago, somewhere around 2009 or so, I worked for a computer company doing consulting work, going around businesses and places and doing the computer work. And there was, I don't know, there was some stupid issue or somebody's secretary started talking about, oh, they're thinking about getting their own full-time computer person and this and that. And I just was listening. I heard her, but I did not pursue it and do anything to give indications that I was interested in getting hired. I was just there doing my job. Anyway, I don't know what happened exactly. Somewhere in the mix, I think something got back to the bosses, and we had a parting of ways. And I, felt a little like I was, it was a bit of injustice because I hadn't pursued that opportunity. But that's neither here nor there now. Whatever. Uh, and then years later, I don't know if it was in Facebook. I Facebooked up with one of my bosses, or no, it's not important. But he had found out somehow. He found out that I was kind of floundering. I was homeless for a couple months, and we had spoken at one point, and he asked me what's going on and what are my plans, and I said, well, I'm going to be going over to Mobile, Alabama to stay at a mission there for about a week, and then when they're ready for me, I'll be going to the VA in Biloxi, Mississippi, and they have a program there for jobless and homeless veterans, and I'm going to be staying there and working on getting back on my feet, and which I was very grateful for. I love the VA; they really, things really helped me out like that. So anyway, it ended up where he offered to put me up in a hotel for a few days, or one of those, those extended stay hotels, the little kitchenettes, and you can rent the place by the week or whatever. It's like a tiny little studio apartment. So anyway, I got in his vehicle, and he had picked me up at the VA when I was up there, and I got in his vehicle, and he looked around and made a call, and then we stopped at one of those hotels, the extended stay. He walks into the office to find out about it, and he walks out with a room key for me. So essentially what happened is he had paid for a full week at this extended stay hotel for me until I had been going to Mobile, Alabama, which I had, and it kind of blew me away. Like, he spent like, I think, over $300 and put me up in this room, and I had gotten, I don't like to use the word fired. It's like embarrassing, but the fact of the matter is, it was kind of harsh. It was, I got let go, let's say, under honorable conditions. So for a boss to have an employee like me that went through that, and then years later to step up and actually help the employee by doing what he did, was just mind blowing. It's really beyond my full comprehension of the generosity and what it meant to me. So I did that, and then he was gonna somehow get me to Mobile, or I was supposed to take a van from the VA to Mobile. So he was mistaken about something to do with transportation or whatever. So he actually had one of his employees come and get me, and the employee drove me from Biloxi, Mississippi to Mobile, Alabama. I don't know how many miles it is. It's a good haul. You can look it up on the map. It's the next state over and stuff. So the man drove me over to Mobile, and I thanked him, and that was that. So the rest is history. So about I don't know, a week ago or so, I popped into Facebook, which I don't use a lot, but I like it because my friends are in there. And I wrote him a little short note, just saying, hey, bud, I just want to let you know I'm still very grateful for what you did. And, I never forget when people are good to me. I never forget the people. And he wrote back, and I'm live up north where it gets cold. And he wrote back, he said, just pay it forward. He says, enjoy the Arctic. So we left it at that. Uh, and I knew to pay it forward. And little things like I bought a new winter jacket. I know one of the veterans didn't have a warm jacket, so I gave him my other jacket, which I didn't get too long ago. I gave him another jacket and little stuff. But I when you say pay it forward, I have a friend. He's a Marine, a veteran Marine, and you know, at the time I had gotten my apartment a couple months ago because I was staying at a veterans transitional housing when I moved back up. When I got up here, they set it up for me. But I did get my own apartment, and when I got it, I knew that he was going to be. I heard that I ended up having to sleep out in his truck in the cold weather. I live up in New Hampshire, so it does get very cold. And right away, I'm like, no, 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 no. I said, Don, I said, I have an apartment now. I said, you come and stay with me for a little bit. Stay, keep warm, stay. You can stay on my sofa. So I invited him in. He stayed here for a couple months through the winter. And he has a friend, a young man, another veteran Marine who I hadn't known, but he had asked me, Don asked me, can he come and stay with you for a few days? And right away, I'm like, of course, man. He doesn't need to be on the street. And this, he can stay. He had a sleeping bag with those pads on the floor and stuff. He was happy with it. And it was funny because Don said he could just stay for a few days. It turned into about 2.5 months, but that's okay. And they had finally they had moved out a few days ago. But I don't want any credit. If I say, well, I paid it forward, I'm only doing it for the sake of this video and sharing my experiences. Otherwise, I believe when I do something nice for somebody, something good, for the most part, I don't want any credit. I'm not going to tell them I did it. I'm not going to run around telling everybody else I did it. That's one of it's a way it's a gift and it's in somewhere in the Bible, I believe it states that about, if you do something for someone, don't let them know. Like, let's say for example, a lady, say a single mother or a single father raising 3 kids, and they're struggling, and you just happen to know that they're low on diapers and they need diapers and they need some stuff, and so let's say say like, well, hey, I know, I'll go buy a couple packs of diapers and a bunch of baby food, and I'll give it to the lady, and say you go down to where the house is, and you walk up to the front porch with a couple bags, diapers and food, and you just leave it on the porch, and then you leave, and that's it. You don't tell her to get glory. You don't have to go around telling everybody else. Nobody needs to know you did it. You just do it, and it's rewarding, and it is tempting. When we do something good for people like that, I mean, there's a time that you tell them, or they know, or whatever. But for the most part, it's not always easy to do something wonderful for somebody, because we want, I think, or the way I was thinking of it is like, I want them to know so they can thank me, and I feel good. They know I did it. Like, I credit for it. But it's up to you. I mean, you can tell the people it's not a big deal, but paying it forward is a really good system of contributing to the people that need it. And because that way it's a chain reaction of, Bud was good to me, and he put me up in a room and gave me a ride where I needed it, and I was good to my friends, and this one was good to that one, and maybe they'll go out and they'll do something for somebody, and that somebody will pay it forward. So paying it forward is pretty cool. And I'm actually going to watch the movie Pay It Forward again, little bits and pieces of it, just don't mind me. I have a couple notes here about what I wanted to say. Yeah, another one. I saw a video of this group of people. I don't know, college age maybe, whatever. And apparently they traveled to some different parts of the world. And there was a guy sitting on the sidewalk with his back against the wall. It's a brick wall. And he's sitting there, and these guys walked up to him out of nowhere, and they gave him like a roll. They gave him like a T-shirt, some food, a pair of shoes, just stuff. Just handed it to him and walked away. And I never saw anything like that before. And I was like, wow, that was, I like that. That was pretty damn cool. And I know, when I go on with more of my speaking, and I mention how adversity, don't mind, I got dry mouth and I'm chugging. Adversity, builds that character, and it builds that compassion. And, I had a guy, I don't know if he's homeless. I see him around a lot. I don't know if he's homeless or he has a place he's living or what. I don't know. But he asked me for some change so he could buy a cup of coffee. You got a quarter? You got a quarter? And I was like, yeah. So I said, I had at that time I had a few extra dollars. So instead I just reached my pocket and I pulled out like a dollar bill and I gave it to him. I know dollars not a lot, but when you're homeless or you need something like that, it take it from me, a dollar bill is a lot. So he said he wanted to get coffee, so I gave him a dollar bill, and we chatted for a couple minutes. And I've seen the guy a few times. He's come up to me before, and I was kind of concerned. I don't know the guy. I don't know. He could be a Vietnam War hero. He could not be. I don't really know anything about the guy, and I was kind of concerned. Because I do. I care about mankind, and especially fellow veterans. So I asked him. I just said, "Hey, how you doing? How are you? You okay?" And he really kind of didn't answer, but he proceeded to go get his coffee. And I was like, "All right," but see, I have to read into things a little deeper. Like, it wasn't just a "Hey, how you doing?" For those of you who haven't discovered it or aware, you know what? It's not even about that. I'm just going to give examples from my experience, and you can take it how you ever want to take it. You know, but considering, say he was, I'm saying, for example, not the guy personally, just say he was lonely. He didn't have anybody. Maybe all his family died. You know, and maybe he felt like people didn't care about him, or maybe most people are looking funny and look down on him, and who knows. But he's a human being, and we don't know his situation. And because I've been there myself, I understand how it feels to be alone and be lonely and to lose everything and to not know where you're going to go from there next point, and it's scary. But I know when there have been people along my journey through all this that cared about me that I didn't even know, strangers that fed me, that prayed for me. That is a gift. It's such a wonderful feeling. It's like it made me feel like I was human again, and part of this world, a person. And most of my life has fairly been pretty good. I mean, I've had a lot of rough times, but I generally have kind of a normal history of having people in my life and a home and all that. But there's a time I didn't, and so maybe he walked away feeling like somebody cared about him, somebody asked about him. Maybe he felt good. Maybe for 2 minutes, maybe for 2 days. But I'm only one man, and maybe I don't know. Maybe it didn't mean anything to him. But even if it was just an inkling, if I that day on this planet Earth, for that brief moment that he was there, if I made him feel good for 30 seconds, it doesn't matter for how long. I know that it's something. Even if it's just a little scratch on the surface, it's a contribution. And there was a saying. I think it was. Wait a minute. Was it Mahatma Gandhi? I don't know who it was. I think it was Gandhi or Dalai Lama. Sorry, I'm fucking meeting there. So he said that be the change you want to see in the world. In other words, I can't go out there to every city and every person on planet Earth and make the world change and make everybody nice to each other. I'm only one man. What he's saying is, like, as I proceed through the day, and say I come across one person, be the person, be the change. In other words, what I believe I want to see in the world, people caring about each other, love, friendliness, gentleness, compassion, all that stuff. That's what I believe I'd like to see. Present myself like that to just one person, and maybe they'll pick up on it and do the same thing. But that's, I think, I believe my audience, people understand what I'm saying. It starts here. It starts right here, just with the one person. So maybe I made a difference. I'm gonna wrap it up soon because I think when people watch YouTube and you get people speaking, you go on and on. A lot of people are gonna click me off and pull up freaking Gilligan's Island or Hogan's Heroes instead or something. Um, by the way, I love YouTube. I'm a YouTube junkie. I love my old comedies, the Hogan's Heroes and Odd Couple and All the Family and documentaries and that show up Modern Marvels and uh, comedians, uh, George Carlin. You know, just all that stuff. It makes me laugh, and laughter is a good medicine. Because when I was down for a while, and I started watching that, and I started laughing, when that laughter came into me, it helps me bring joy into my heart. So, and right now I'm not focusing on being a comedian. I was told at times I can be pretty funny, and I believe I have a unique approach to my sense of humor. And I'll mix that in here and there, but I just want to do this, and while I'm doing this, just know I'm doing this to I don't know if it'll even get posted. It might, I don't know. And my file sizes are kind of really big when I make these, so I have to work on keep the quality but reduce the file size. So I can't be loading 1.5 gigabyte files up to YouTube. They'll fire me. Let's see, real quick. Oh, I like this one. There's a couple more, but I think I'll just leave it at this. You know, when you go somewhere like a hospital or a school or a mall, anywhere you see people that sweep the floors or mop the floors, they go around with those long dustpans with the handles, like the movie theater popcorn sweepers, and they clean windows, they clean bathrooms. Most of the time, I mean, people ignore them. I mean, not everybody, but for the most part, it's kind of strange. We have a stigma in society like, well, I work on the eighth floor of an attorney's office, or I'm the one that works down at the perfume store in the mall, all right? I'm the VA veteran patient at the VA hospital walking through the hospital or whatever you do, whatever you are. And you always see the janitors and the people that are custodians that are there cleaning up, cleaning windows, cleaning toilets, cleaning bathrooms. They keep the place clean. Well, I stop. I like to stop. Like yesterday I did it. Man was sweeping, going around sweeping up debris and cleaning windows. And I didn't see anybody talking to him. I walked up to him and I said, excuse me. He's like, yeah. I said, man, I just want to thank you for keeping this place clean for us. You clean our bathrooms, you clean the windows, you sweep, and I really appreciate it. And he looked like he's seen a ghost. So and I could see it made him feel good, he said thank you, and that's it. I wasn't trying to make a big deal of it or anything like that. That's what I do though. I believe take the time to a simple thing like that. I mean, and then I went back and I told him, I said when people walk through here, the hospital I was in, and they see how clean the floors are and shining, they see how clean the bathrooms are, and the windows are clean, and this is clean, and they see they know things are disinfected, the handrails and stuff. I said, that's because of you. You do that. And I said, people take it for granted. I said, but I don't. You're important. You're important. You're important. So the little bit of gratitude. Uh, I guess the last thing I have is write a letter and send it. It's real simple. I mean, at the VA, like thanks Valentine's Day, a bunch of school kids all over make the Valentine's cards with crayons and whatever, and they send them to the VA. The VA gets a couple of, excuse me, I told you, I'm not going to go off camera, we get baskets of these cards, and we're free to take them just so we have a card, and, that's pretty cool. And, write a letter to somebody. I send a card, but I don't want to stay on that subject. You get the idea. And it's the last thing. I keep saying the last thing, don't I? I need some sleep. When I'm at the VA hospital, for instance, and one of the staff members goes above and beyond, and when I'm in a difficult situation, when I have a situation going on which has a very challenging way to come up with a solution, and it's very important to me, and there's somebody there that actually helped me in a big way and did a good job. I like to when people do good jobs and they really help out. I like to go to their supervisors or patient advocates or whoever, and I actually give them recognition. I just say, I just want to tell you, Chris over in the pharmacy, He was unbelievable. He had done such a super job for me. I mean, he's great. He really is. The man deserves a raise or something like that. Tell the people that are in charge of him or her. Um, and that's about it. I mean, that's the little stuff like that. It helps them. But as I rebuild my character in my life, it helps me. It really does. It just, it just to know, to have the insight and the desire to do things like that for people, pay it forward is it's a great reward. It really is. Well, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and meander out of here, and I'll talk with y'all later. Bye. Thank you for listening and watching.